Could you get your record sealed automatically in 2024? So a little while back, I got this notice from the court, which said my client's criminal record was going to be automatically sealed based on a case from 2023. This made me think it's a good time to do a video about sealing records in 2024. In the video, we're going to talk about the benefits to sealing the record, how you go about sealing the record, as well as how some criminal records will be sealed automatically. If this topic is of any interest to you, please stay tuned and watch more. I want to give a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video. I'm a Massachusetts criminal defense attorney for the past 25 years, and everything I'm saying in this video applies only in Massachusetts. Each state has its own laws when it comes to sealing records or expunging records, so it's good to speak with an attorney in your home state if you have any interest in sealing or expunging your record, because everything I'm saying here is only going to apply in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So let's get into it. Why would you want your criminal record sealed? What are some of the benefits? Well, some of the benefits may seem pretty obvious. Do you want a better job? Do you want a better apartment? Do you want to get a particular professional license? These days, most employers and most landlords are doing criminal background checks on every prospective employee and every prospective tenant. You're going to have a leg up if you have either no criminal record or, in this case, a sealed criminal record. Particularly with professional licenses as well. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, they can't deny you a professional license if you're based on the criminal record if that criminal record has been sealed. Further, when you're applying for these things, when you're applying to housing or you're applying to that job or you're applying for that professional license, you can truthfully answer under this law that you have no record. And when they check with the Commissioner of Probation or the Criminal History Systems Board or the courts, they will only get back a response that there's been no record found. So they're not going to have any idea that you have a criminal record for most employers in Massachusetts if your criminal record has been sealed. So these are huge benefits. Another benefit to having your criminal record sealed would be that it can't be used against you in most court proceedings. So if you're testifying at a hearing or at a trial, no one's going to spring up with, hey, weren't you the guy who was arrested on this day doing this thing? Because a sealed record is not admissible against you in most criminal proceedings. Now, there are some exceptions to that. If you pick up a new criminal case, a judge in that new criminal case is going to have access to your old sealed record, and they're going to be able to use it to make certain decisions like sentencing, should you be convicted or take a plea on the new case. The sealed criminal records also has access by the police. So if you decide you want to get a license to carry firearms, the police are going to have access to that record, and they're going to know about your past convictions. And some of those convictions might preclude you from being able to get a license to carry firearms, okay? Also, another exception is if the court proceeding involves custody of minor children, okay? The courts can have access to those records and use those in those proceedings, as well as any proceeding that involves abuse. Think domestic restraining order. Your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, etc., wants to take out a restraining order against you based upon some form of claimed domestic abuse. The courts, in limited circumstances, may be able to use that past criminal record, even if it's sealed, against you in those proceedings. All right, let's talk about the ways in which you can seal your criminal record. The most common way is to file a petition with the Commissioner of Probation some period of time after the case is over. So keep these numbers in mind: 3, 7, 15, and never. Okay, these numbers all correspond to the number of years you might have to wait, depending on the type of case you have, before you can file that petition to seal with the Commissioner of Probation. So 3 years, okay? This applies to any charges or case that is either a misdemeanor or a juvenile delinquency matter. You got to wait 3 years before you can file that petition. If the case is a felony or the case is a violation of a restraining order or harassment prevention order, regardless of whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor, you have to wait 7 years before you can file that petition. If the matter is a sex offense for which you either were not ordered to register as a sex offender or you were ordered to register as a level 1 sex offender, you have to wait 15 years before you can file that petition to seal. Now, if you were ordered as a sex offender to register as either a level 2 or a level 3, you're never going to be able to file a petition to seal that particular criminal record. All right, and I want to jump in here with some things that might affect those periods of time that we just spoke about. All right, the first would be if there's a change in the law where the particular crime for which you were convicted or took a plea or were charged with is suddenly decriminalized. In other words, it was a crime when you were in court with it, but since then the legislature has changed it and classified as a civil offense or just a non-criminal offense, okay? If that happens, then you can immediately petition to have that record sealed. You don't have to wait any period of time. A good example of this would be marijuana laws, all right? Marijuana used to be a criminal offense. Even simple possession of that particular drug would subject you to potential criminal penalties and certainly have to go before the court, all right? That got decriminalized in 2008. All right, that's no longer a crime. It can be a civil offense in certain circumstances, but it's no longer a crime. So if you had an old marijuana conviction on your record, you can immediately petition to seal that because it's no longer a crime. Another way in which it could affect the time period you might have to wait before you can file that petition to seal is if the law was changed where what once was a felony and you had to wait the 7 years to file the petition to seal got downgraded to a misdemeanor. So the legislature said, okay, this crime, it's not so serious. We don't have to have it be a felony anymore. We're going to call this a misdemeanor now. In that case, you don't have to wait 7 years to file the petition to seal, but you're still going to have to wait 3 years to file the petition to seal because now it's a misdemeanor and the misdemeanor rules apply. And what about cases and laws where it's not really clear if it's a felony or if it's a misdemeanor, okay? In that case, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt, and they're going to apply the rule for misdemeanor, which means you have to wait 3 years to file the petition to seal. And now I want to kind of wrap this section up by saying that those waiting periods, that 3, 7, or 15 years you have to wait, are all from the time that your case is completely done with in the courts. In other words, you're done going to court. You've either, taken a plea or got a conviction. If you were sentenced to any form of incarceration, you finished that sentence. Okay, if you're on probation or parole, you finished that probation or parole, and you've paid all fines and fees that are due to the court. If you've done those things, you then still have to wait that 3, 7, or 15 years before you can file that petition to seal. And that applies to all those cases. You have to be completely done before that waiting period ever begins. All right, another way you can get your criminal record sealed in 2024 is if you were successful in your case. A case went in your favor. In that case, you don't have to wait any period of time before you can petition to have your case sealed. However, the procedure is a little bit different. So if your case got dismissed for some technical, legal, or factual reason, or the Commonwealth withdrew the charges, we typically call this a null pros, okay? They null pros the charges. If either one of these things happen to your criminal case, you can immediately file a petition with the judge and ask the judge to seal the record. Now, what you're going to be required to show in that situation is that the best interest of justice would be served by having that criminal record sealed. Now, keep in mind, you just won this case, right? Your case was dismissed. You weren't convicted of anything. You weren't actually punished for anything. So why would you want that criminal record sealed? It's simple, because many times, even having that charge on your record, even though it got dismissed, even though it got null pros, could affect you down the line when you're applying for jobs, or when you're applying for housing, or the other benefits that we discussed at the beginning of this video. So getting that criminal record sealed is going to benefit you in that way. And what's the best way to show the judge that the substantial interests of justice will be served is maybe during the pendency of this case, while your case was going on, you lost a job because of the criminal charges, right? Or you lost a housing benefit or a tenancy because of the criminal charges. If you can show that that's happened to you now, it's likely to happen in the future, then that's a good showing to the judge that the substantial interest of justice would be served by sealing this criminal record. And in that circumstance, the judge should seal the criminal record. But it is the judge's discretion, so it's up to you to bring forth the right amount of evidence to convince the judge that this is the right move to seal that particular criminal record. All right, we're coming into the end of this thing, and I want to talk about the last part of this, which is how do you get your criminal record sealed automatically, right? In which this case, you actually don't have to do anything because it is in fact automatic. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had a client who received this notice from the court indicating that their criminal record was being sealed automatically by the court, and then if they didn't want the record sealed, that they would have to file some form of an objection to why they wouldn't want the record sealed. Now, I personally couldn't think of any reason why someone wouldn't want their criminal record sealed automatically, but I guess, for everybody's different. There may be reasons that you have. But how do you accomplish this, okay? It's going to happen a couple of different ways. Essentially, if there's no probable cause for the charges, the court has determined that there's no probable cause, the charges probably shouldn't have been brought in the first place, that record's going to get sealed automatically, okay? Likewise, if your case went before a grand jury, the Commonwealth was seeking to indict you to bring you to the Superior Court, and the grand jury said there's no probable cause, and they returned what they call a no bill, okay? So the grand jury said there's no probable cause. That record's also going to get sealed automatically, okay? And the last way, and this is going to be a little bit more common than the first two, is that you went to trial on that particular charge, okay? And after trial, before either a judge or before a jury, there was a not guilty verdict, okay? That not guilty verdict is going to cause the court to automatically seal the criminal record relating to that charge. And that's exactly what happened with my client in this particular case. We were successful on a drunk driving case, and that criminal record was automatically sealed. And it's a great benefit, and you don't have to do anything to achieve it other than, like I said, get the verdict of not guilty or finding a no probable cause. All right. So I hope this information was helpful to everybody. If you found some benefit in it, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions about sealing your criminal record or any other aspect of criminal law, particularly in Massachusetts, where we're based, please give us a call, shoot us an email, or leave a comment below the video. We would love to hear from you.